and inspiring a generation within the crisis. This show is brought to you by Endeavor, which is a mission-driven global organization that believes that job creation, innovation, and overall prosperity flourish where there is a robust support for high-impact entrepreneurs. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome our guest, Mrs. Saudat Salami, who is the founder and CEO of Easyshop and Easycook Services Ltd, which is considered the foremost multi-platform fresh grocery delivery company in Nigeria. It was founded to help working women meet up with their domestic responsibilities without putting too much stress on their careers. So Mrs. Salami, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with us today. So could you start by telling us a little bit about your company, Easycook Services?
Okay, like you said in the intro, Easyshop Easycook started, it was an idea that started in 2001. It was because of the problems I saw working women were having. I was making plans to settle down. I was working at the time, and I just thought of all the things that would happen. You know, when I'm married with kids and I'm working and I have to go to the market and all the stress, everything was just overwhelming. And at the time I was a website developer, and I thought, okay, what could I do with my skills that could solve this problem? And then again, I asked myself, how many people even have this problem that I'm thinking about? When you want to get married, so many things just come to your head and fear and stuff. So I did a bit of research, and I found out that it was a problem for a lot of women, balance work and home life. And so I just thought, okay, let me just build a website. If I build a website, maybe they would use it and it will solve this problem. And you know how it is, build it and they'll come kind of thing. So, and I was in school then. I was working on schooling. I was doing a course then in AppTech for information systems. I just thought, let me use it for my project. And I used it for the project. It went well. And yeah, so I just started the part-time then. I was still working. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you started in 2005, if I'm correct?
I started fully in 2005, but all the experiments and stuff in 2001. Yeah.
2001. Okay, well that's great. So you saw a problem and you then kind of built something and it kind of worked out. That's fantastic. So before we go into your company a little bit more, I'd like to ask you how you're doing in this COVID-19 time. I see that you're in an office, so I'm not sure if that's your home or your office, but so how's the COVID-19 pandemic?
I'm in the office. We only shut down about 2 days, and in March we shut down for about 2 days. We're all afraid. I didn't know what to do. I told my board that we have closed down, and my staff were afraid as well. But by the time you look at what's going on, everybody needs food, and everybody's looking out for a food delivery company. I had to make the decision to stay open with some of my team, but we've been open since then. It was a bit skeletal a while, but now we're running very well. We've been opened. I'm in the office.
Okay. Well, so how would you say that the pandemic has affected your business? I know you spoke about it a little bit, but could you tell us a little bit how the pandemic has affected your business?
Oh, hugely. In March was very, very difficult for us. We're working with barely a third of our team. We're overworked. We're closing about 11, 12. The traffic was horrible. And apart from that, the team themselves, they were afraid. We're not invincible. It's not as if when we come and we're delivering food, we can't get the virus, but we have to be here. There was pressure everywhere, pressure from my family, pressure from my friends. What are you doing? Why are your company opened? Why aren't you taking care of yourself? Then, my team members as well, their spouses were worried that they were coming to the office, and, everything was difficult, it was a tough time, but we were able to, take a day at a time. I'm the kind of person that when I'm overwhelmed, I just want to be away from people so that I can think. So, and I always did that at a time, and we're just taking it at a time. And I made sure that I showed up. I had to be in the office all the time with my team. We're having meetings almost every day to reassure them, to validate their fears, to just to let them know the company is here to give you everything you want, your mask, we them from the home. The buses were going to pick them and drop them, every day, just to make sure that they were not using public transport. And we just tried to do everything we could. We also tried to compensate them, for risking their lives, coming to the office. And, then of course, our customers, we had to let our customers know, because we were not working like we usually do. Everything was rushed. We're overworked. So we kept apologizing. We kept on, but, things were going. And here we are. It was hectic. Then, of course, the supplies from the farm. A lot of farmers and suppliers. We couldn't get a lot of things from the market. It was a tough time. It's still a tough time, but I think we're better now, unlike about a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It seems as though as time goes by, businesses are learning to adapt. Whatever that looks like. The food industry has been, as you mentioned, hit very badly, in the sense that, you mentioned the supply chain issues. I wonder if you can go into a little bit more detail as to the larger issues that the food industry is experiencing at the moment.
Storage, very big, with a big problem in the value chain. A lot of what we have stored are grains. We have beans, we have gari, we have rice. We can't live on that alone. We do not have cold storage for our vegetables, cold storage for meat and all that. We don't have it. So you find a lot of the farmers now, because, in Lagos alone, we have most of the food is bought by, we party in Lagos. Real party starts on Wednesday, but we are partying almost every day. There are events every day. The bars are open in the evening. Our men are drinking and watching football and eating chicken and stuff. It's from the poultry. But now nobody's buying all that. So there's a glut. So individuals can buy food, but there are no parties, hotels to buy all this food, guest house. So we still have a lot of farmers that are crying, there's nowhere to store them. We don't can in Nigeria. So all the waste is on the farm. We don't can, we don't freeze, we don't do anything. So we've always talked about this in the agri value chain, that we need to put structures in place, but it was all talk. Now it's coming up. When this pandemic started, everybody was looking for a grocery delivery company. Everybody was like, oh wow, who are the grocery delivery companies in Nigeria? I'm like, oh really? Really, you actually know that there should be a grocery delivery company. You actually know that, But if this is not just about technology, it's not tech, it's not websites. If you're talking of a grocery delivery company, you're talking of it's in the value chain of the agriculture, because we're buying fresh produce. How will I deliver fresh produce just with an app? Right. Do that just with an app. So we need those stock. And a lot of the farm, right? When you supply food to mile 12, the whole mile 12, there's no storage. Everything you take to mile 12 rots on the floor if it's not sold. So we need to have structures in place that when coming from the farm, it has gone through a pack house that is cleaned, is sorted, then it's stored somewhere, it's protected. The shelf life is increased and all that. We don't, and these are the exposed dates. You really have exposed dates, So I'm hoping that post-COVID, we look at that agri sector. People stop, reduce the investment in production. We have production. We're already wasting in the farm. We need to put structures in the other part of the value chain so that we can store, can transport cheaply, we can, price of food can up. And delivery companies, there can be more delivery companies, because a lot of people don't want to invest in. I'm sure you know the history of e-commerce companies in Nigeria. A lot of them will wake up today and they'll close tomorrow. That's because we're all feeding from this thing. The more structures we have in this value chain, the more companies like Easyshop come up. Because we need a lot. If only Easyshop can do that, there, even in Lagos alone, we're over 5 million households in Lagos. Easyshop alone can do that. So it is tied to the agri sector, and we need to develop it.
No, absolutely. You make such a great point. We are in this pandemic and people need food, but I can only imagine the amounts of food wastage that is happening because of the lack of storage capacity and the lack of proper infrastructure, like you mentioned, to keep the value chain ongoing. So in the work that you've done, with your company, what have been the conversations with the different stakeholders that are responsible for making this a little better? What has that been like, your conversations with stakeholders?
Before now, it's always about too much money involved. Too much money involved. So in the sector, because Easyshop, I see us in the sectors, in the agri sector, in the logistics sector, in e-commerce. And for the tech, they are not really interested in investing in infrastructure. And the thing about tech is not only software. Tech is hardware. Infrastructure is also technology. So we have to invest in the hardware technology as well. And we've been having these conversations, even with government, because when you talk about the agri sector, the Lagos government has a lot of farms around Lagos, and they have settlements. But you go to those settlements, you see a lot of waste on it. So we're wasting land, wasting food, we're wasting support. You need to put things in place so that your investment in these areas would not waste. We've started conversations, and as I said, I'm hoping post-COVID. Right now everybody is promising everything. What happens is afterwards, then everything goes to normal. Then we know that if you would really put the money where you should, so that we are ready for the next epidemic, because this is the new normal. These things will happen again, and how are we going to be ready when it does?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's important to think about how COVID is affecting us now, but it's equally as important to focus on the post effects and, kind of what that's going to look like as well. That's for sure. So when you started your company, you talked about how you started it from a need perspective. You saw that women were having a difficult time balancing their careers as well as their home lives. So could you talk to us a bit about the beginning stages of your company? So you started kind of in 2001, playing around with the idea, and in 2005 is when you officially launched. We're now in 2020, so you've been in business for, close to 20 years, 15 to 20 years, give or take. And we all know that, having a sustainable business that lasts for that long is, there's a lot of hard work that goes into that. So talk to us a little bit about that journey and kind of from inception to now.
When I started, it was just an idea, and like I said, it was just an idea that I just thought, oh, this is so simple. I'm sure I can just build a website and everything will be fine. And I'll be doing my work. I was working at the time. Then I built website. The website, I was in, like I told you, and I aced my project, and that would boost my ego at some point. I was like, oh, good, go ahead and do it. And there was, in 2001, how many people had the internet? Those of us that internet had it in the office, and it was, what we call plug and pray, click and pray. You click and wait for like ages and pray, it comes on. So when I built it, they were like, no. I have a problem. I can't go to the market. I'm finding it difficult to go to the market. I would like you to do this for me, but I'm not going to click and pray. I'm not going to do it. So I ended up having to go to a lot of my customers' houses. Can you imagine? I have a website. I'm telling you to click and place your order so that I can bring food to you. And you're like, no, if you want me to place an order, after your site, beautiful, drive to my house and let me see you. Yeah, or come to my office. Let me see you. It was crazy. So, but I did that. And, that was the first few years. And he was back. And it was really, really terrible, horrible period. I'll do it for a few days, I'll stop, I'll do it for a few days. And one of my senior sisters, my big sis, my friend, told me in 2005, she said, look, Saudat, if you really want to do this, go to business school. If you really want to do this, this is a problem solved, and you already have the skills. There's no company doing it at the time. And she was my customer as well. She just said, just go and do an entrepreneurial course so that you know how to run a business. The fact that you have the idea, doesn't mean you know how to run a business.
Mhm.
I went to Faith Foundation and I got an entrepreneur called AEP at the time, and I finished, and they taught us a lot. So I said, okay, and of course I had read. I'm an avid reader, and this decision is a difficult decision because my parents were not with me then. They're like, what is this? What are you going? What are you doing? This is rubbish.
They don't quite understand it. Yes.
So I had to stop work. I stopped work at the time. I made a decision to quit my job 2005, and I focused on this. And it was horrible. It was hard. I was working from home with one staff at the time, and but the thing is, because the problem I was going to solve every single day, how it is that like a car, and you start seeing the car every day, and that's how this was. I saw the problem, and I was seeing this problem every day. Women kept on complaining. Everybody was talking about work-life balance. Everybody's talking about the problems the woman would have, and they are having. People are talking about career progression of women and why women are not, climbing the ladder, and they are dropping out for more because of domestic, issues. And that became my driving force to continue what I was doing. It was difficult. The market is horrible. Going into the market is war. Getting a car park is war. Buying things in Mount 12 is war. Coming out, and I didn't want to just buy food and give my customers. I wanted to make shopping and cooking easier, because they'll go to the office and come back and with their husband, and they would spend the time in the kitchen while the husband is chilling.
Right.
And both went out together. They both went out for walk. So that was, for me, I wanted that to be a good process for the woman. So we would clean the food, we would make it easy to cook. Just wash everything we need to wash. If you want anything grind, we'll grind it and stuff. So it was something that was novel at the time. I needed to do it because, first of all, people were not with me to be in this business, so I couldn't fail. Then my sister, my darling sister, I have one sister, she gave me money to start business. So nowhere else. So I couldn't afford to fail. So I had to just put my head in it and do everything I could do. And, and I joined a women association. One of the things that I realized is that once you know who your customers are, especially those that have the problem you're solving. I'm not for you just waking up and starting a business. I'd rather you solve a problem, because there will be challenges in running a business. And as long as that problem exists and you have a solution for it, you can create solutions for it, you can innovate solutions for it, you will always be in business. So I had to look for who my customers were. I had to write down who they were and where are they clustered. So I found a women association, WIMBIs, and I just stayed. I practically stayed there, because I was like, okay, all of you are clustered here, very good. I didn't have money for all the adverts. I didn't have money to run around. I'm a person that I didn't school in Lagos. I'm not a social person that have a lot of friends around. So I had to go to a place where it would cost me less to market. And which is what I did. And that was how I was able to sustain the business for this long, in a close network. And I was able to make all the mistakes because we made a lot of mistakes. Luckily for us, we made mistakes not with too much money. We had women in WIMBIs. WIMBIs women are high achieving women. And I joined them at the time where they were moving, on that ladder. They were becoming MDs, they were becoming, the politics they were doing. It was just perfect for me. So when I came in, it was like, oh, very good. Let me outsource this domestic thing to this woman. So my failure, they didn't even want to hear it. You can't fail because our life is attached to you. So my friend, get up. So they did help pull strings. I didn't know them, but they just helped me, and because let me just say shared value. We're helping each other. They were helping my business grow. And I was like a support service. Easyshop became the support service for a lot of the women in the Women Association, and really helped us. That really did help. Yeah.
No, I mean, you said so many important things. Wimbase seems like the perfect place because your target audience is women, and it's an organization filled with women. So I can imagine that was extremely important to kind of contributing to where you are now. You also talked about how you started your company with I guess seed funding or funding from your sister. So have you gotten financing or investments um, after that initial investment? Can you talk to us a bit about the raising finance for your business and also sustaining it?
Okay, like I said, my first proceed was for my sister.
Yeah.
Then I got angel investors. I got angel investors a few years later. Um, about two, they helped me a lot after I went through serious drill them, because they didn't understand my business and they were wondering what I was doing in it. But because I insisted on doing the business, they had no choice. I think my charm, let me just say my charm. So they were funding me without understanding the business, but they were just funding, and they were not family. Can you just imagine that? I'm so grateful to them. Then a few years later, I got a VC. A VC that was in 2017. And this VC, I chased them for about 3 years. They told me no for a number of times. No. Nobody wants to invest in e-commerce, because like I told you, it's difficult. But I don't know why they invested last time, in 2007, but they did invest in my business. And that was the last investment we got in 2017. And yes, we've been running on that since then. Right now, we're I wouldn't say we're seeking new investment. No, we're not, because like I said, it's not just about the money. It's about building the sector. I need to if I'm getting investment, it has to be for infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
Infrastructure has to be built. It has to be built if you want to be e-commerce. And it's not, in the US, in the UK, e-commerce companies are riding on the structures that have been built. There's nothing like that in Nigeria. So if Easyshop is going to really scale, there has to be something we're scaling on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for people, institutions that understand what we're trying to do here. As much as we want to copy them in the West, we have to localize our solutions.
Yeah, you have to adapt your solutions for sure, depending on the market that you're in. So you've said a lot about tech adaptation. So from the beginning, you had customers that would expect you to come to their house. They didn't want anything to do with the website. They're like, great, you can get these groceries for me, but I don't want anything to do with the website. And then again, just now you mentioned about how investment in e-commerce sometimes can be difficult. So how do you get around that that tech block that some people tend to have? I mean, I think we're seeing it with the COVID-19 pandemic as well. A lot of companies are having to adapt to tech, having to run digital businesses, and that takes some time to kind of get used to. So could you talk from your experience? What's your experience like been with the kind of tech block that some people tend to have?
Everybody wants it to be easy, kind of. They just want the easy path. They've had work to be done that has not been done yet. So I think what happens is that, it's like now look at fintech. Fintech has been cracked. So many companies are now doing fintech. Mm-hmm. E-commerce has not been cracked. So you see a lot of people, when they come in after a few years, they just go 1 year, 2 years, they're dead. Right. Because there's something they need to put in place. E-commerce is not just tech, So for people in Nigeria, it's expensive. Investing in Nigeria is expensive. You know that when you look at other countries and the things that, we don't have light. We don't have constant light. So if you want to invest in this, you need to have your cold room always on. All the infrastructure relying on in the good roads, the transportation, the cold chain infrastructure. It's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of hard investment, and they are not ready for that. They really are not ready for that. And I think for me, it's always been, I'm very patient. And I think that is what has sustained. The grit, yes, but more of it is patience. I see the sector. I know that it will come to this. I know that this is going to be what we're going to do. And I always just have to wait. If at the end of the day, if how long can you wait? I've been privileged. I've been fortunate to have investors and board that are patient as well. They're patient with me. They understand why I'm here. They understand the problem I'm trying to solve. And it's critical for me. And luckily for me, every day, everything goes into that line. When we talk of diversity and inclusion, everybody talks about, how you want to diversify your company and put a lot of women and a lot of tribes and stuff. But they forget that, how do you sustain them? The fact that you have a policy that says parity doesn't mean that the women will stay. So the fact that you have employed doesn't mean they will stay. What's going to make them stay is all the inclusive policies. Example, married women. What are you doing about the way the domestic responsibilities, pregnant women, and all those kind of things? And this is where support services come in, Easyshop. So everything is happening, but we have to be patient. Because when I started, it was click and pray. You click and you pray. And now we're here. I remember when we put our GPay online payment, nobody used it for years. Nobody clicked it for years. Nobody used it because they were afraid. They were afraid that if I put my card in, something is going to happen. So what we did, that's why we call ourselves a multi-platform. So we had to look at Nigeria, how our people think. So you can bank transfer, you can. Then again, we had people that their domestic staff are the ones that are going to call. So we have to put that in place. I'm not here just for tech. I'm here to solve the problem of the working woman. So we have to do things that will make it easy for the working woman to shop. Even I have a lot of tech women that are refusing to use the website.
Really?
It's culture. This is our culture thing. They don't have the time. So their cook is shopping for them. Their driver is shopping for them. I kid you not. Yeah. So we have to create a platform where working women can access the support service we're doing. So for me, yes, we're building an online platform, but yes, I need to solve this problem. And because this is our driving force, I think this is why we've still been here after 15 years. Because we have adapted to the way our culture is. Yes, we're trying to move everybody to a platform and trying to, innovate new ways, but we also want to move with our economy, with our society, with the people. And we cannot invent faster than the people that are here to use it. We can't.
That's very true. That's a very good point. So it seems like you really understand who your customer is and you're willing to adapt your model that has been popular in, I guess, the Western world, but you're trying to have a Nigeria-specific model that works for the society that you serve, which makes a lot of sense. And studies have actually shown that working women who actually have adequate support system at home, so in terms of domestic work, childcare and things of that sort, tend to have the ability to have, I guess, broader or larger careers because they have these things in place. So I think it's definitely something that more people should be using, for sure. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about empowerment and financial inclusion. I know that in 2017, in partnership with the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund, you launched an initiative to train and empower market women and men. So could you talk to us a little bit about that? It seems that the empowerment of other people is something that's important to you.
Yes. When I started my business, I didn't know anything about this business. There was nobody doing it. And, I was fortunate. To get a lot of market women and men that also were fascinated about what I was doing. I was going to the market and I was telling them that I'm helping people shop. I know they would look at me like, oh my God. They had this pity look. Like I didn't know what I was doing. And so a few years down the line, LFDF started their loan, and I got it. I was one of the first set of people they gave the loan to, and I just thought, it would be good to help those that have helped me along the way to raise for them to apply for this loan. So what I did was I'll put them together. I approached LSCTF and I told them what my plans to do, and they said, "Good, if I can train them and put them together, they would help me. They'll give them the loan." So what we do for every year, they give out about 50 slots that I go to the market, and it was mainly for the women when I started for the men, but a lot of the men refused. They said, no. They also, we're going to be part of it. So we go to the market, train them. We help them to, LSPF also gives like 2 or 3 resource persons. The tax office also gives us a resource person. So we make sure they all pay their tax. They register for their tax. We help them to register. They all pay their tax. We help them to fill the form. We help them, we train them, then apply. Then we monitor them, and thank God. And they only apply for I think the one of 500,000. And we have been doing that for about 3 years, and we've had no default cases. So almost every year we have like 50 slots. We go in, we train them, we monitor them, and they take the loan for a year. And that has been, that has been very rewarding for me, looking at them. And it's almost the same set of people you see in the market for years. They're selling the thing, they're just as small as they were. Growth for them is, they see it as, I have to be in the market every day. Once I'm in the market every day, I open my shop, I'm fine. Right. So you see, they're just, is a tray, and that is it, a tray. And they are also used to collecting this microfinance loan that is, the interest rate is so high. So I remember when we started this, they all came together, they put money together to come and give me. And I'm like, is something wrong with you? No. This, this no, because they didn't understand. First of all, they didn't believe that the rate was so low from LFCTF. Secondly, they did not even believe that we'll put them together and help them to access this loan without getting anything from it. And I'm so happy that that's very dear to me, and we keep accessing that loan, and it helps their business.
No, I mean, it's extremely important to empower people at different levels of society. And essentially, if we don't empower market people, our economy won't grow. That's just as simple as it is. Financial inclusion, we always talk about it, but essentially, if the people at the bottom of the pyramid are not empowered, then our economies are just going to really stay stagnant. So that's really great that that's something that's important to you. So it's obvious that you are, I don't know if I can call you a feminist, or you're someone who is passionate about the empowerment of women. So I wonder if you have any advice for women entrepreneurs that want to start something, but just, because of society or because of the way that our world is, unfortunately, haven't been able to do it yet. So do you have any advice for entrepreneurs that are female that want to maybe start a business?
Feminist. I like women. I like the cause of women. I don't like to be in a box. Okay, well, like Chimamanda said, we all should be feminists. So if it's one box for the whole world, then it's not a box, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for women that want to start their business, one of the things I like is justice, not necessarily women based to push women based. I just want people to have a choice. If you want to start a business, I've always looked at it from what problem are you solving? Because starting a business is difficult, especially in Nigeria. It will drain you, and you need fuel. Your fuel has to be the problem you're solving, the solution, and the people that are using that solution. Mm-hmm. It has to be your fuel. It has to be. So if you want to do that, then I think we should all think, we like to copy a lot. Someone is doing this, everybody rushes there. I think for me, people need to be trained. I'm just going to look at it in my own path, what helped me, because from 2001, 2005, I was starting and stopping my business until I went to entrepreneurial school. And I've done about 2 or 3 more, entrepreneurial studies afterwards. And that helped me. People need to be trained. It has gone past the time of our mothers that they would just open shop and they'll be declaring millions years, sending us to school with it. That is over. Our competition is now global, so you can't just wake up and think everything will be fine. So we need to be trained. You need to go to entrepreneurial school. It's just important. You have to go to entrepreneurial school. You have to. You also have to have a problem solving. Find a creative way, a way, something that is going to be your anchor in that business. When everything is messed up, then you're like, okay, what is the other way I can solve this problem? Because by the time everybody copies you, which they will, it is the new creative way of solving the problem that would help you find your own blue ocean, your own way of differentiating yourself from everybody. And I think that is what has sustained me over the years. That's actually what I try to tell my mentees is find your own niche, find your own thing, find the problem you're going to solve and get trained. Be very good at it. You have to be dogged, because everything will come at you. Family will come at you, not because they don't like you, but because you don't understand what your dream is. They don't want you to fail, because your failure means that they're going to have to pay your meals, so they'll try to stop you, but you have to know who you are. You have to feel enough. Then once you do that, anything you do, whether it is I'm not, people say, oh, go after your dreams, go after your passion. If your passion is, no, I'm not that go after your dream. No, it has to make sense. The naira and kobo must match. So
that makes sense. I like that.
I'm not after that passion. That go after your dream. That passion must make sense. It must add up to naira and kobo. So if you're going after your passion, what is that passion? How does that passion turn to naira and kobo, and how does it sustain you? You need to get trained in it. You need to know. I'm in school almost every year. Every season, I'm doing a course. I'm doing something. I want to know. About my customers. I want to know about the new ways of solving problems for them. I also want to know, who I'm competing with. I want to know the fastest way to do stuff. The smart way to do stuff. Hard work is good, but smart is better. And when you have both, so you need to, you can't just rely on yourself and say, oh, let's just do this and open a shop. Nigerians like opening shop too much. Everybody wants to open a shop and sell something. If you're opening shop and selling something, then who will buy? We need to start solving problems. We need services in all the sectors. And I think there's a lot of where I want a lot of women to focus on, because we have this soft side. And if you want to be a service person, it's about the soft skills. Women are very good with soft skills. So I think we should look at starting businesses, especially support services. When you take a woman from the house, from becoming a housewife to a full-time working woman, you're going to have to create almost 14 different jobs. About 14 different jobs we're talking of. Now we have the after-school service. That's the reason why we have a lot of after-school services now, because women are working full-time, and that's a service sector. We're talking makeup artists, we're talking domestic shopping, we're talking, so many things. Service sector, support services. That is where I think people should concentrate on, and they should get trained to know it. You have to know your thing. You have to know it. Just don't wake up and say, well, how can I get customers? What does that mean? If you're asking me how can I get customers, it means you don't have the demographics of who you are solving a problem for. You don't know where they are. You don't know what they look like. So I think that's what we should start thinking about. Instead of just copying stuff. Yeah.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Those are definitely some really great points. I want to go into some questions that we have from the audience, because people have some questions for you. Okay, so we have a question here from David Akpera. He's asking, how can businesses in your industry deliver better outcomes in this time of crisis? So I know that we've talked about that a little bit, but how can e-commerce businesses, let's talk about e-commerce businesses, deliver better services in this time of crisis?
Whether it's this time or whenever, whatever time, what I always tell my mentees in this sector that are doing this is that we just have to, first of all, why are people telling you to buy food for them? You know, why? Because they don't have time, because they are doing other things. So you have to buy them high quality produce. You have to deliver to them on time. You have to understand why they're using your service. And that is how you're going to satisfy your customer. When you know why. When I go to the market myself, I can cut corners. Let me just buy, okay, this is the only plantain I'm seeing right here. Let me just go. But when I send someone to the market, you can't give me that nonsense. You have to go and look for the best plantain for me. And you pack it very well and you deliver to me. So at this time, if you have an e-commerce company, you have to think about this time or any time. You have to know that when people tell you to buy food for them, you have to make sure that you give them high quality. It's difficult in Nigeria because, like I said, a lot of waste is in the system, but that is why you are in business. That is why you're in business. High quality, fresh produce, pack it properly and deliver to the customer's house on time.
So we have another question over here. How have you been able to balance being a family person as well as a CEO of a company?
Balance. There's no balance. There's no balance. So it is an integration. Ever since the COVID, my family, my children have not been able to come to the office, but I started using my children. They are staff 1 and staff 2. I've been privileged. I'm privileged to have that. And yeah, I am privileged to have that. I started visiting my children around, and they've always been around. They come to my office from school. They're in my office, and I did that for my staff as well. So when their children close, they come here. As a female founder, I think that's one of the things I can do is to be the change that I want, that I seek, to create an environment where a mother can work with her children and still do her thing. And that's what I can tell you is that the initial part I couldn't scale quickly because my children were still young. There's nothing like that. One thing, something has to give. The good thing is that I'm an introvert, so it was okay for me. I don't have to socialize so much. So my work was my life, and my children were around me. So I didn't give up much. I go to the customer's house with my children. I'll go to the market with my children. I was doing everything with my children, and so it was okay for me to balance that. My husband was there. My husband has always acted in my business, so it was easy it's not easy for everybody, which is the reason why I understand it so well. And I see it. I'm passionate about it, and the way just to take that domestic responsibility away from when do you know that at the entry level 48% of the workforce are women, but by the time they are getting to the seafood, 22% are women. And it's not as if the men don't like us. No, by the time the woman gets from training entry level to seafood, she's already getting married and having children and having responsibility. The woman is going to choose the home before our work. It's because the men don't like us. That's why we're not in seafood. That's why we're not in the boardroom. It's because of our domestic.
Prioritize their families.
We will choose family before we choose work. That is it. Except we have a good support system. If you look at all these, a lot of the women I admire, they come out and say it. Their mom is still with them, looking after their children. They have a huge support system. We should stop lying to ourselves. They have a huge support system that is making sure that when they are MD, when they are a minister, when they are a governor, when they are in London and their office, someone is doing the domestic thing. They have outsourced successfully. So in order for you to quote unquote have it all and be MD and be the wife and a mother, you must build that support system around you. And that's what I push, Easyshop pushes, that we are a support system for the working woman and the man, because we have a lot of men as well, bachelors, even married men that, A lot of married men have outsourced to their wives. That's why a man can wake up one day and they put him to London and he won't even blink. But a married woman, you post her to London, even if she's getting a raise, it's going to take her like 2 months to make that decision. If she doesn't have a support system in place, she would not go.
Yeah.
She won't go. So yeah, that's how I've been able to do that. I have a good support system, and I run my own company. So,
so I guess you kind of have it's kind of your own time, in a way. Okay, so in 20 years from now, so you've had the company for about 20 years now. Where do you see Easycook being? What kind of company do you envision having in 20 years?
20 years, I'll be retired. Long before that, I'll be retired. This girl is tired. Let me just say 20 years, beginning on January, we all had this dream. That COVID has crashed so many dreams. So don't let us be shooting 20 years down. I don't know what's going to happen.
You'll definitely be around in 20 years.
That 20 years, I'm not going to shoot it. I'm just going to take it a day at a time. Post-COVID, I've always known that things need to be put in place for this company. The infrastructure needs to be built. But, it's as if you're waiting for validation from people and you're afraid, as if you are the only one seeing it and maybe you are blind. Right now, I know that what I saw was real and my path is the path. So now I'm, motivated, I'm encouraged to just go ahead and do what I need to do, whether people are with me or not, because I know that they're the market, and I know that we're going to thrive wherever it is. So for me, I'm looking at 18 months, not 20 years. I don't know the next virus. so yeah, the next year.
Definitely honest. I think that's probably a very candid response. So I think that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're getting to the end, a little bit to the end of the program, and I wanted to find out from you if you had anything you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap up, in terms of entrepreneurship, any advice that you might want to give people that are watching.
I just want people to chart their own path. It's not going to be easy. I've said it. It's not going to be easy. Your dream is yours. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody will see it. No, nobody can see it. Even if your family will support you, your friends might support you, nobody might even support you. Nobody might even. There are times when I was lonely on this journey, and luckily for me, I had people that were just nodding. There were more people nodding and saying, okay, just go, don't fall, than people that were putting roadblocks for me. Then in life, you actually need people on the inside that would nominate you, that would point, that would be destiny helpers, which is what has happened to me. I'm not going to take ownership of anything or where I am, because I've had a lot of destiny helpers, people that, put my name on the list, people that mentioned my name, people that opened doors for me, opportunities that just came up that I didn't even know, why am I in this room? And I think that happens when you're following your own path and you're not being distracted and copying everybody, and just, finding your own path, which is what is required. For me, Nigeria is a fertile ground. There are hardly any services anywhere. We should stop copying each other, because businesses need to be built. When people open e-commerce companies, a lot of people send links to me. Oh, Saudat, look at this company I started doing exactly what you're doing, and I just pity them, because I'm like, the market is huge. I need more people to do this, because the more people in this sector, the more this sector is validated, the cheaper it is for me to run my own business, because I will not be, there'll be shared resources, there'll be shared expenses, so is huge. So I think chart your own course, believe in yourself first, and you are enough. You're always enough. You're always enough to do whatever you want to do. And I think we also, one thing again is that we also need to pull each other up, especially women. We need to. This is not about women supporting women. This is about I don't want to go through that women supporting women thing, but the thing is that we really need to pull each other up. A lot of us are, because of the culture, we don't have faith in ourselves and our abilities, and just very little thing where we're discouraged. So I think we need more people to just say, come, let me just hold you. Even just for me to hold you, that's enough. Yeah.
So I mean, support is definitely important, and like I like the fact that you talked about destiny helpers, because one of the themes that we're really seeing with this show is that all the entrepreneurs we talk to, they attribute their success to, yes, hard work and doing the right thing at the right time, but there's definitely an element of faith that is in there as well, and also believing in destiny helpers and things of that sort. So um, that's a really nice ending to this program. So Mrs. Saudat Salami, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Scaling Through Crisis. We've definitely learned a lot about your company, as well as the food industry in Nigeria and the challenges that kind of take place in that ecosystem. But I think that there's a huge space, like you said, there's space for everyone. And the e-commerce, the food delivery service space is definitely going to grow. And we look forward to seeing what your company is going to do in the near future. And we also look forward to keeping in touch with you as well.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. And please do take care of yourself and stay safe.
All right then. Bye.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to another edition of And this show is brought to you by Endeavor Nigeria. It was a pleasure talking to Mrs. Saudat Salami. And it was really interesting to speak to her about Easyshop, which is her company that has been around since 2001. And essentially, it was started to help working women balance their careers as well as their home lives. So yeah, thank you so much to all of you for tuning in to Scaling Through Crisis, brought to you by BusinessDay and Endeavor Nigeria. My name is Lehlé Balde, and I look forward to seeing you guys on another episode next week, Thursday, the 28th of May 2020. At 2 p.m., we'll be speaking to Vivian Nwaka, who is the CEO of MedSaf. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. Take care of yourself. Eid Mubarak to everyone that is celebrating. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you.